Hi guys, so Dominic Raab and I are very similar. Neither of us know much about international diplomacy or international trade. But the problem with that is that I'm a 2-bit YouTuber and he's the friggin' British Foreign Secretary. Now, he was interviewed by Andrew Marr of the Andrew Marr Show on the BBC, and he attempted to explain away the problems that the Scottish fishermen are facing in, this story that we've been following for a few days now, how the Scottish fishermen are not able to export. And he puts it down to teething problems.
Meanwhile, lots of fishermen are furious that EU boats are inside the 6 to 12 mile fishing area. And in the words of one Sunday newspaper this morning, the Scottish fishing industry in particular is drowning under red tape. Let me just read you two examples. Jamie McMillan of Loch Fyne Langoustines. We have no sales to the EU, our biggest market for live shellfish in the last 2 weeks. If we go another week without that, we are finished. And Donna Fordyce, who's Chief Executive of Seafood Scotland, says some businesses, which may have been run by families for generations, are now days away from collapse as a result of the agreement you have struck.
Well, I'm not convinced that that's a result of the agreement.
That's not the result of the agreement. Actually, he's correct here. This is not the fault of the agreement. It's not the fault of Boris Johnson's trade deal. It's the fault of Brexit that Dominic Raab was a supporter of. Yes, technically he's correct. The deal is to remove tariffs. But the problem is not the tariffs. The problem is that these people are trying to sell fresh food, fresh fish into the EU market, but the bureaucracy is slowing it down. Now, this was not actually necessary. The UK could have remained a part of the Single Market and Customs Union, and this would have avoided many of these problems. But the UK decided, no, we don't want to remain we don't want to stay a member of the European Union, okay, but we also don't want to be part of the Single Market and Customs Union. So we wanted these checks, we wanted this extra bureaucracy. The Brexiteers wanted this. You can't say, once again, he is technically correct to say it's not the fault of the deal, because the deal is about taking away tariffs, making sure there are no tariffs. But for these Scottish fishermen, the tariffs are not the main issue here. The main issue is the bureaucracy, and that's the fault of Brexit. The Brexit that Boris Johnson sold as a oven-ready deal. Now, once again, none of this was necessary. The Brexiteers wanted this. They wanted to leave the Single Market and Customs Union. You could have left the EU as a member and remained part of the Single Market and Customs Union, and you wouldn't have had most of these problems.
Agreement will, sorry, Andrew, can I answer the question? The agreement we have struck, both short-term and medium-term and long-term, will create huge sustainable opportunities. Of course, we've always said as we...
It's like telling these people are saying, my business is going to close down maybe in a week or in a month. And your response is, yes, but in the future, sometime in the future, we will have these great opportunities. And they're like, yes, but I'm going to close down in a week. What can you do for me so that my business doesn't close down in a week? Think about the future. Sometime in the future, maybe, Jacob Rees-Mogg said 50 years, maybe by 2050, the UK economy will be doing really well again after Brexit. I don't think 2050, but maybe years, or at least months. No, more likely years. But Dominic Raab is telling the fishing industry, just hold on. If you can wait another few months and years, then you're going to see the benefits of Brexit. But these people say that they're not going to be able to survive weeks.
We enter as we leave the transition period, and with a deal, but even more, if we hadn't had a deal, there will be some teething problems. We're very focused on working with all of the different sectors, including the fishing industry, to resolve any of these teething problems.
They're not teething problems. Dominic Raab he either doesn't understand, or he's pretending not to understand. And I don't know which is worse. These are not teething problems. This is a permanent situation. Veterinary checks and this extra paperwork, both of these things make it extremely difficult. This is not a teething problem. You can't just say, let's throw more vets at it, or let's throw more bureaucrats at it to fix it. No, because these things have to be done in order for these fish to be exported. You could spend millions, you could be spending billions to try and sort this out, but there will still be checks necessary. You can't get over that. Dominic Raab is trying to sell it as, look, these are just small things at the beginning of the Brexit period, the post-Brexit Britain, and we just need to sort out a few documents and then everything will be hunky-dory. That's not the case. Now, there are situations regarding Brexit where there are teething problems that can be resolved, they can be fixed, and it will be much better for those industries. But not this industry. Once again, Dominic Raab doesn't seem to understand international trade. I'm not an expert, not one bit, but I understand that if you have checks at the border, it slows down the process. If it slows down the process and you're selling something that's very delicate, that needs to be as fresh as possible, and it's not as fresh as possible, and it's not even fresh, the customer will not buy it. They'll go elsewhere, even if they have to pay a bit more. And what does that mean to the Scottish fishing industry? It means that they won't be able to sell their fish. Not because, the first problem is the bureaucracy. The second is the customer, because if the bureaucracy slows down the process and the customer says, look, this fish isn't fresh any longer, I'm not going to buy it, then they'll find a new supplier. But this all comes down to Brexit. This all comes down to the decision to leave the customs union single market. Brexiteers will say, no, it's because of the deal. Brexiteers will say it's because of the EU. No, this is because of Brexit. This was a decision made by Boris Johnson and Dominic Raab. Dominic Raab supported this at every turn. He can't get away from it now. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?